Hello and welcome to the Connection Couch. My name is Reg Sorrell.
And I'm Jo Saunders, and today we have a special guest, Holly Ann Martin, who is a child abuse prevention education specialist. And we're going to be talking all about video and how she got over being shy and introverted to confident and, colourful on video.
Rolling. And we're back in the room. Thanks for joining us on the Connection Couch. So, you did such a good job, Jo. Why don't you fully introduce our guests?
Yes, so we've got Holly Ann Martin, who has been around this space. How long have you been in this space for, Holly Ann? A long, long time. I mean, you're a mad, passionate advocate for education in the childhood protection space. So you tell us.
I've been teaching my program for 35 years, but had my company since 2007.
Wow, 35 years. That's a passionate leader running through. And I love that you brought video into your own mix, because I mean, I know I've known you for quite a long time, and I've seen you using Facebook, and I know you've sort of translated it over to LinkedIn, and you've done some awesome things over there, but particularly video. So, should we get straight to the questions, Reg?
Yes, why not?
All right.
Why not?
Shall I ask the first question?
Go for it.
Excellent. So, well, as I'm talking about, getting started on video, and I know, I mean, you would know it. I used to be quite shy and reserved on video too, and used to trip over my words. Reg has helped me immensely with my confidence on video. But Holly Ann, for yourself, I mean, I know video can be a bit intimidating for people and a bit overwhelming. So, how did you get over that? Like, what was the tipping point that got you over? Well, actually, before I ask that question, what was holding you back, firstly? And then how did you get over it?
Well, what was holding me back was I am, as you mentioned, very shy and introverted. If you meet me face to face, I'm the one usually holding the door, letting everybody go in and, in the ladies' loo at a cocktail party. My mantra is my message is bigger than me. So I actually wanted to produce an online parent course. So I went on a boot camp with the amazing Sarah Cordner. And if you know anything about Sarah, nothing shy about that girl.
No.
Basically, pushes you out there and says, I expect you to do, you have to do a Facebook Live every day and don't worry about what you look like and things like that. So every time before I hit, record or go live, I say to myself, my message is bigger than me. And I'm very relieved when when I hit, stop. Mainstream media don't want to talk about the subjects that I talk about. So I just basically have to get it out there, because if I'm not speaking about it, children don't have a voice, and I feel like I need to be a voice for children.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm just going to check my notes here. How did you get... Okay, so your content. How do you find the inspiration for your content? Because that's one of a big stumbling block for people, is this idea of, this massive idea that they've got to create content all the time. So how do you deal with that?
Well, again, because it's about child abuse prevention, there's so many, I'm never short of content. There's always new apps to come out and things like that. But to be honest, when COVID hit, we were looking at I was thinking about how can we leverage and get money coming in, because basically when it hit, I couldn't travel, which is where most of my work comes from. And so we have an online shop, and I've written 5 children's books, but we also sell other people's books. So I thought, what a great way of promoting other people's work, and then, having the sales pitch, oh, by the way, they've got a book. So it was sort of like highlighting other people's work, as well as, sort of a sneaky way, I guess, to promote resources and have some income coming in. So I also reached out to a police officer who I saw on the SBS, who was a victim of child sexual abuse, and she spoke so beautifully. So I actually contacted her in the beginning find out what resource could I have made that would have helped her disclose. And then it ended up with her and I doing a video for nearly 6 months, once a week, talking about different aspects of child sex abuse as well.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, that you get one idea turned into a 6-month project. That's pretty cool. So that kind of leads into the next question. So in terms of the types of video you create, I mean, obviously you've done interview videos where you're interviewing an author of a book. What other types of video do you like to create? What have you found is effective for your audience, like engagement and views and things like that?
Well, to be honest, probably for my business, doing the interviews with people was so successful, especially on LinkedIn. One that really went off was I interviewed a nurse from the United States about child-to-child sex abuse. Nobody is talking about it, nobody. And so I'd met her at a conference 2 years earlier. So I jumped on and I think it was about 40 minutes. But that many people from the areas that I work in reached out, and because we were talking about the link between pornography and child sex abuse, people that actually work for the Department of Child Protection were going, Holly, that wasn't on our radar. We had no idea about that. How do we not know about this sort of stuff? And so the topics that we're talking about are cutting edge. There was another young fellow that his interview went gangbusters. He was a 16-year-old young man who saw pornography at 9, was addicted by 12, and from there just, withdrew from his family and admitted he was addicted and all of this sort of stuff. And, when I shared that, and to be honest, that you'll be really disappointed, but the sound in it was really rubbish. But I had people, not on my part, Reg, just saying, it was his, he was in his bedroom. But we had, it was shared in Canada, and I had people from Canada and the US. One big agency actually contacted me to say, look, we use your audio, even though it's not that great, because we'd like to use it with children that we're working around porn addiction. I said, why would you use my video? Go contact, Smith, and then to build his profile, because it's not about, I don't think it's all about, I'm not one of those look at me people. But here's a young man with an amazing message. So if I can give him a leg up, and, he's just gone from strength to strength, I'm not just saying thanks to me, but there was lots of people that reached out to me because they saw our interview on LinkedIn. So back to your question, one of the other things that I've done, because teachers couldn't do training and stuff with COVID and things like that, so for 10 weeks, I've got a Safe for Kids educators group. It's got about 2,000 teachers and teacher assistants and childcare educators in it. And so every Sunday, for about 40 minutes every week, I went live and did free training, just to support teachers, so that when school did go back, they would be able to start the term off rolling in the program to children. So then on my Facebook page, I like to do Facebook Lives to help parents have difficult conversations that they don't normally want to have with their children, because I say that we have to start talking to children about pornography from the age of 6, and of course nobody thinks that's a good idea. But if I can empower a parent to have that conversation, you can see it on YouTube. So there's quite a few different ways that I've been using video that's been just so successful.
So can I just ask, because you mentioned Facebook as well and LinkedIn, so the types of video you would share on Facebook, are they different to the types you would share on LinkedIn?
For me, so far, yeah. And again, don't yell at me, Joe, but I should track. The ones that I've done shared on LinkedIn, I have never done a LinkedIn Live, really. They're more, the Zoom side-by-side chats that I've been sharing on LinkedIn. Whereas, I love the stuff that you do when you just, you come on and you do something really quirky. And I'm thinking that maybe that's, something that I need to again, get out of my comfort zone and do. Go live on LinkedIn and just see if I get more traction with doing it live rather than just sharing a video. Sometimes I share the video direct to LinkedIn, and sometimes I just share the URL from my YouTube channel onto.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I have to bend down. I've got so many things on my desk here, I can't see anything. So what about the impact on your business? Has it directly led to new clients, new opportunities?
I'm still massaging some of the people that have no metaphorical way for that objection of consent. So
Yeah.
but definitely, I think my COVID, I've had at least 1,000 new, contacts on LinkedIn. Not all of them have come from the video, but I noticed that once I've contacted them, then they are going and they are coming across my videos and stuff like that. So I can't really measure, the impact that it's had, unfortunately. I know it's really naughty, and it's just that I'm so flat out that I need to get better at, looking at the analytics and stuff like that. But, I've had people reach out. I mentioned in something that I needed to get in contact with the e-safety commissioner, and then this gentleman messaged to say, well, actually, Holly, I meet with her quite regularly. I'm happy to put your name forward, even though I'm connected with her. And I also connected with the Prime Minister from New Zealand, which I'm very proud of. I reached out to her. I never thought in a million years she'd be there.
It's very cool.
I know, right? And with the e-safety commissioner, it was ironic because I actually reached out to her. It was back when Malcolm Turnbull was our Prime Minister, and she was doing a live with him. And I actually put her on the spot to say, well, what about blah, blah, blah? And then she had to message me back because it was on the Prime Minister's page. And so that's how I ended up with her contact details. But lots of people have been reaching out to say, look, whatever I can do to help. I've met through LinkedIn over the phone. I've met with people that have said, look, if I'm ever at a meeting and I can champion your work, I'll be doing that, straight up because, I really want to get behind what you're doing and I want to share your message and things like that. So at the moment, I can't measure it, but it's about building relationships, I believe. And, I'm so grateful to you, Joe, because way back when you first came to national speakers, I must admit up until then, LinkedIn, I had a profile and I did nothing. And in the time that we've known you, I've got not as many as you, I've got about 500,000 contacts, but they're from around the world. And another couple of the things that have happened is I've been doing some work with different NGOs in India, and those contacts have come out of, the stuff that I've shared, and I've been mentoring a couple of Indian psychologists and stuff like that to do this program over there and things. So, and those have definitely come. Again, it hasn't translated to money, but it's not all about the money for me. As it'll always be about the impact that I can have, and so you can't measure that.
And talking about metrics, I mean, you said you're naughty not measuring, but video on LinkedIn is difficult to measure anyway because, I mean, well, you've got engagement, likes and comments that you can measure, but actual views of a video, and Reg and I talk about this, a view on LinkedIn is 3 seconds. So they may have just stopped for 3 seconds and moved on, or they might have watched your entire, say it was a 20-minute interview. You don't know. And that's unfortunate because LinkedIn would have all the metrics in the back end, don't you? They choose not to be as open as YouTube with these sorts of things. But what you've hit the nail on the head there. It's about relationships and it's about being top of mind. So all these opportunities that come to you, you can't necessarily track them to a particular video unless someone comments or messages and mentions the video is seen. But it means that you're building relationships, you're being in front of people, and you're building trust and credibility, and people can see that you're not about, like you said, look at me person. That was a really bad version. I'm sure you guys can do a better impression of of that one. But you're about the message. You're about the purpose, and people can see that when you talk.
And also just getting over yourself. When you, in the beginning, I used to worry about, putting on my face and stuff like that. But now I've just found that if I've got something to say, people don't care about what the background looks like, because I've done it in, remote Aboriginal communities and all sorts of things like that. Again, it's the message. And, even on Instagram lately, I've been, just whacking up, photos when I'm in a remote community and it's, 42-degree heat and I'm sweating like anything. But it's the storytelling, and it's not necessarily what you look like, it's the message that's the most important part.
And I think that's a really good tip for anybody watching who's nervous about doing video, because often we think, oh my gosh, I look terrible. Doing video and watching it back is probably your best feedback, because get over the being self-critical and hearing your own voice, but looking at what you look like when you're not speaking. I've learnt that, as I said. When I'm not speaking, I try and smile because I look a bit more approachable rather than looking grumpy, stuff like that. But if you've got Reg is always grumpy. That's just, have you got your cranky pants on today, Reg?
Oh, yeah, they're nice and high. They're underneath the T-shirt, though. They're up about here, I reckon.
So we in our relationship on the couch, I'm the happy, friendly one. Reg is just the one. So I just balance out his crankiness. Unless I'm cranky, then Reg he really has to get into the...
People are going to start believing you, Joe, if you keep saying that.
I know.
Okay.
Have you got any video questions for
Well, I have one last question. We need to wrap it up. What would be the one bit of advice you could give someone who's on the precipice of using video?
Do it. You cannot, when I go back and look at my first, because it comes up on Facebook, and, you've always got that reminder, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, you said blah, blah, blah. And you go, oh my God, how terrible. But everybody starts somewhere. And, my first Facebook Live was back in the old days where I had my camera sideways. And I just encourage people to get on and do it, because people are consuming information in such different ways. Some people, we were talking earlier before we started the video, about some people will listen to podcasts, some people will read blogs. But if you're not in every genre, then you're missing out. So I really just recommend that people suck it up. I'm happy for them to use my mantra if they want. My message is bigger than me, and just to get on with it.
Excellent, good advice. And I often tell people to get over themselves, but that's not just about video either. So, Holly Ann, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. We'll have to get you back, because I'm sure there's lots more questions we can ask you, especially with your success with using LinkedIn and video. It's definitely an example for others to follow. So thank you very much. Joe, any parting words before we roll to the outro?
Words. Well, I want to firstly congratulate you, Holly Ann, from stepping into your zone. And I think because you've got a topic that is quite sensitive, that you've proved that you don't have to just have a business topic to talk about your topic on LinkedIn. The fact that you can talk about something that's really sensitive and quite an emotional topic, and you've done it really well. So well done.
Excellent. All right, so let's just come back to you, Nigel. All right, so thanks for staying with us, and don't forget, actually no, let's not say that. Remember to subscribe for more
Positive
gems like this. Yeah, positive, exactly right. Be positive. All right, so we'll be back next Tuesday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.
See you then.